Hi, my name is Honey Golden, and I want to introduce my friend Wendy Monaco today. And she is an RN. She is a health coach, and she's been in the medical research field for the last several years. And I just want to talk to her today about how the current world has affected her. And we're going to talk about how it has pushed her out of her comfort zone. So we just want to talk about that today and what her perspective is. So, hi, Wendy. Can you tell
Hi,
us?
friend.
Hi. Can you tell us how this current world situation has pushed you out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, well, about a month ago, I started a whole new career. So I guess that's the major stepping out. It's been 20 years since I was a nurse, and the current conditions and changes, I decided immediately that it was time for me to make a change. And that change, actually, it's been kind of, even though I've stepped out of my comfort zone, it's been the biggest blessing of a long, long time.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm glad you did it. So I have a few questions for you today, and I wanted to ask you another one. How has it shook up your faith in the reality that we've been living in?
Shook up my faith.
Yeah, you're like
I,
faith in the
I
reality.
think it's actually increased my faith. I feel like it really pushed me to become really clear about what I believe and how I want to live. And that is very much about trusting that my decisions will be supported by the universe. So my faith has really increased a lot. I think when you have to make a big decision and you don't really know what's on the other side of that, it really forces you to have a lot more faith. So all of this, and just sort of realizing that I didn't want to listen to what was going on outside. There's so much noise and chatter and confusion and chaos. And I knew that it would be best for me to just listen to my own, what was inside of me. So, and that really has increased my faith.
That's good. That's beautiful. Yeah, we need to listen to what's going on inside of us right now. So what has it made you think about when you look outside? Does it feel like it's like a real reality, or does it feel like it's kind of more created at this point?
Yeah, I don't, it doesn't feel real to me. It's hard for me to imagine how so many people can think that it's real. Um, I don't know how specific you want me to be as far as what prompted the change, but for me, but
You can say if you want. Yeah.
yeah, so it's hard for me to imagine that it could be real, that we're living in a time where people are literally forced without choice about how to treat their own body. And that, to me, just that can't be real. That is just, so right there, I think, was the biggest red flag for me once I heard the word mandate. That word doesn't sit well with my soul. And so to me, that's where the whole kind of question of what's reality started. And I feel like for me, that wasn't a good choice. So I was forced to make a decision. Again, it's been a blessing, which we can talk more about. But, I feel like the fact that I knew right away that I wasn't comfortable, speaking of out of your comfort zone, I wasn't comfortable with somebody else telling me what to do with my sacred body. And so that was an immediate decision. And I knew that at that moment that a lot of people couldn't be living their truth or in reality if they were going to allow other people to make those decisions for them.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of plays right into my next question, which is kind of what do you want to see happen in the world? Like, I know that you are going to be doing something that's centered around values and, what are you looking to see start to happen?
I think being a nurse and being in the healthcare profession for most of my life, um, I think we are expected as healthcare professionals to have the ultimate level of respect for another human. So no matter what their choices have been, no matter what their decisions are, we are required, we are expected to care for them despite how we feel and respect them as another human. So for me, that's probably the ultimate thing that I would like to see, is that people start truly respecting each other and realizing that we're all doing the same thing here. I always joke, I always tell you, can't we all just get along? And I joke about that, but I really mean it. Like, I don't understand it feels so unreal to me, to use your word about reality, that we're living in a time where there is so much division. And, we can't expect that everybody's going to have the same beliefs. We're all on a different journey. But the fact that we've created such a world where there's so much competition and division and disrespect. So for me, I see where we get back to the basics of just loving one another, respecting one another, um, caring for each other, taking ownership of our own bodies again. I think that was one of the biggest things for me that was so hard for years of nursing. It wasn't as though this decision was just like snap of a finger, I'm making a change. For years, it was hard for me to be in this healthcare system because it wasn't about each person taking care of themselves. It was very much about us having to take care of these people that were making these choices that weren't best for themselves. So that's another thing I would see, that everybody really respects themselves and
Mhm.
gets back to really understanding that the key is that the only person that really matters is yourself, and that you need to really be able to love yourself and take care of yourself and own your own journey in order to be a part of this universal journey.
Mhm.
That's what I hope to see.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Um, Looks like you're a little frozen.
Yeah, you are a little frozen too.
So I'm going to pause for a second.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to follow up that question with asking you, what are you grateful for in this time?
New opportunity is the first thing that comes to my mind. It's pretty awesome that not a lot of people have the opportunity to really kind of like reset and restart. And I feel like I've had the the fortune to take some space. And I have two young children, well, medium young children, but still at an age where they take a lot of my energy, and I want to give them that energy, but I want to do it in the way that feels right. And I guess I'm just recognizing that I wasn't really even grateful for the right things because I was just going through the motions, right? So
Mhm.
now it feels so good to really have reevaluated and reset and have an opportunity to create the life that I want. I think so many of us, I was always grateful that I had a job. I was always grateful that I have a house, that sort of those things, as opposed to sort of bringing it a little bit beyond that to the next level. Like, um, how do I really want to live this
Mhm.
short life that I have on this earth? And really creating that for myself. So that's the main thing that right now feels, I have so much gratitude around that. Um, I think I've created a really good support system for myself. And I see that just growing. But I mean, you and I have been friends for a very long time now. And even though we live in two different states, I mean, the connection, I guess connection is a huge importance to me.
Mhm.
And so I'm very grateful for the connections that I have in my life. Um, and recognizing too that I've created connections in my life that support this new journey that I'm on. So that I did, obviously that's something that I'm really, I'm grateful for. And I am giving myself a lot of credit for having brought along these people that had similar values and, can really now support me as I make this change.
Mhm.
So those are
Do
some of
you,
the big ones.
those are good ones. Do you feel like it's changed you internally a lot,
Um, what
as
has
far
changed
as
me?
like, has it changed how you feel internally
Oh,
or?
internally?
Mhm.
Yes. I mean, it took a while, it took a while. Change obviously kind of, um, things get rattled. So,
Yeah.
it definitely has been kind of like an up and down, but I definitely think, ultimately I'm starting to feel more peace inside.
Mhm.
I think that a lot of that comes from the fact that I really am every day allowed to honor whatever comes. And so now I feel like I recognize that I want to live and create some sort of life that allows me to continually, day to day, enjoy the things that are really valuable to me. I was joking with a friend this morning. I love the fall. It's fall here still,
Mhm.
and being able to really like appreciate that and watch it happen as opposed to just going day to day, season to season, and not being able to stop and appreciate. So that inside is giving me a lot more peace and comfort, to be able to enjoy those moments.
Mhm. Yeah, I think the world has been engineered to distract us from working on our internal stuff. And it's really wonderful that most everybody has been forced to slow down in some way. So they're
Mhm.
having to look on the inside. And I think that's going to be the wave of the future. And I'm really grateful for this time as well and every change that I've had. So I've gone through some of the same stuff,
Yeah.
leaving the corporate environment and all of that. But I want to just continue to interview regular people who are going through this change and just to continue hearing their story and for everybody to realize that we are all one and we can just do all of this stuff together. We don't have to judge each other or get triggered by each other's choices.
Yeah,
So,
judgment is definitely something that I'm releasing, which feels great,
mm,
Um, but I think you feel it more when you are in more of that sort of corporate environment.
yeah,
And yeah, so that's been another thing that's nice and it takes faith to do that though too, because you have to really trust yourself and not worry about how it's going to land. It's just it's more important to honor whatever you feel than it is to worry about what the other person is going to think or feel or say.
right. Yep.
And
And
like
trust
you
the
said,
universe will take care of you.
yes. And I think the more that people hear these from, like you said, from other just people living life, and
Hmm.
that there'll be more understanding that is okay to live like that. But like you mentioned, I don't think we've been set up for that type of lifestyle. And so
Mhm.
people just sort of accepted that that's how it is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been for the last year just making choices out of fear instead of out of love, and they haven't been able to break out of that fight or flight feeling, and it just kind of
Agree.
stops your brain.
Yeah, I
So
agree. It's
yeah.
hard to, yeah, and that's the irony, right? Is like for me, because I kind of made that separation, like now I have all this space and opportunity and creativity and that kind of thing. But I can see how when I was living in the other sort of mindset, it doesn't allow for as much of that, you know?
No.
Um, yeah, so I agree. I mean, I think a lot of people are choosing things based on fear and not having faith, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It just, the only thing I can say as we wrap up is just to take a deep breath before you decide on something, you know,
Like,
and maybe say, I can't decide right now. I'm going to
yeah,
take,
that's okay. I agree. I you know, for me, I think I've told you that I recognize that my morning time is super, super important
Mhm.
for taking that breath, because if I don't set up the day that way, then the rest of the day kind of follows suit. So for me, taking that breath every morning and really kind of setting an intention, right? Like, how do I
Yeah.
want this day to go, has really also been something that has changed over this last year, the way that I go about my day.
Hmm. It's huge. It sets up the whole day. Otherwise, someone
Mhm.
else is setting it up for us. So we don't want
Yeah,
that.
no, no.
So is there anything that you want to like share with anyone before we cut it off?
Share with anyone. I guess having experience, going through this experience, um, I would wish for other people that they could have enough courage and faith to really start asking themselves the important questions of what's most valuable to them and what decisions they can make to start living that life.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wendy. I really appreciate you coming
Yeah.
on today.
Have
Take
a great
care.
day. Talk to you soon.
You too.
Thank you
Bye.
for having me. Bye.
You.